HR employees, what was the most ridiculous complaint you ever received? I was a manager at a mid-sized retail chain, the kind of place where we had rotating shifts and shared workstations. The computers at the back were used by everyone. Morning shift, closing shift, even inventory guys when they came in for stock checks. So when two of the girls on the opening shift came to me saying the back office computer was acting weird, I figured it was a tech issue. They were visibly uncomfortable when they told me. Said the computer kept popping up PRN sites when they logged in every morning. It'd start as soon as the system booted. No clicking, no typing, nothing. Just auto-played PRN. Loud, graphic, unapologetic PRN. I did the usual checks. Cleared the browser history, reset the homepage, even installed an ad blocker. Next morning, same complaint. So I contacted IT, had them scan for viruses. Malware came back clean, but something was definitely off. The browser history showed explicit sites visited after closing. Always after closing. I got curious. We had security cameras in the back office, not pointed at the screens, but at the room itself, enough to catch who was there and for how long. I pulled the footage from the last few nights and sat down to watch. It only took 2 days of review to see it. One of our supervisors, Rick, had a habit of hanging around after his shift officially ended. Nothing unusual on paper, just wrapping things up. But around 10:45 p.m. when the store was closed and everyone else had clocked out, he'd go into the back office, shut the door, turn off the overhead light, and sit at the computer. At first I wasn't sure what I was looking at. It wasn't obvious. He was facing the monitor, kind of rocking in the chair. Then he'd lean back, both hands in his lap, staring at the screen. His shoulder movements said the rest. I watched about 10 seconds more than I should have. Then I picked up the phone and called HR. The HR rep we had was a guy named Daniel. Pretty serious, buttoned up tight, ex-military, always wore the same blue dress shirt, always had his clipboard. I gave him the heads up and scheduled a sit down for the next morning. Rick came in wearing his usual smug face. He probably thought it was about scheduling or maybe a customer complaint. He didn't flinch when I mentioned the computer, just crossed his arms and said, "Yeah, it's been glitchy lately." Daniel sat across from him, totally stone-faced. I explained we had reviewed security footage and then played the segment. No sound, just the grainy video of Rick doing, well, exactly what he'd been doing. He watched it for about 3 seconds, shrugged, and said, "Okay, yeah, that's me. But it's not like I pulled my D-Seek out or anything." There was a pause, not one of those awkward short ones. This one stretched on, long enough that even I felt uncomfortable. Daniel didn't move, didn't say anything, just stared at him like he was waiting for Rick to get to the punchline. Rick finally broke the silence. He sat forward, hands on his knees, and said, I just played with it. Over the pants. That's not that bad, right?" Still nothing from Daniel. His face didn't even twitch. Rick let out a short laugh, then rubbed the back of his neck. "So, I guess I'm fired." Daniel nodded once. Rick stood up. "All right, well, good luck with everything." And he walked out. No drama, no begging, no excuses. Just picked up his keys from the table and left. After the door closed, Daniel finally spoke. He said, "Didn't pull his D out," in a flat voice, almost like he was trying to believe it made a difference. Then he wrote something on his clipboard and left the room. We changed the passwords on all the shared computers, locked the back office after hours, and I never saw Rick again. Last I heard, he applied to a similar job 2 towns over. Wonder if he told them the full story.